When we reflect on spiritual struggle, spiritual warfare, we have to remember a few things. In fact, there's a few hints that the apocalypse shows to us. First of all, the devil is never attacking in a singular way. It's not a one-front war. The devil always attacks from different sides. We see, for example, in chapter 13 of the Apocalypse, we see that there is a beast from the sea and a beast rising from the earth. Two beasts. It's a two-front war. We also see that a bit further on, when the city of Babylon is described, we see the beast again, although slightly in a different setting, but it's the beast from the sea that we see again. And there is a woman, a prostitute, sitting on the beast. It's the city Babylon. So here again we have this description of two evil spirits that are keeping man away from God. Now, you can reflect on that. What does it mean? We will see later on, but I can just mention now that the beast from the sea is like an imitation of the incarnation, an imitation of the Word become flesh. And the beast from the earth is like the imitation of God's gift. Not quite an imitation of the Holy Spirit, but an imitation of all the gifts to man through the Holy Spirit or in the Holy Spirit. So we see the beast from the sea and the beast from the earth as, in a certain way, a spiritual imposition of evil, or a spiritual choice for evil, and the beast from the earth as a kind of more material or materialistic imposition of evil on man. In the vision of the prostitute sitting on the beast in chapter 17, we can again see the same thing. There is a kind of spiritual evil, and the consequence is not materialism, but it's like relativism. The city Babylon is described in quite a lyric way, actually, quite an extensive way, as the incarnation of pure relativism. And actually, at the very end of time, just before the Last Judgment, we see again a demonic attack on mankind, which is named Gog and Magog. It's like the ultimate fight against Christ again is a two-front war, Gog and Magog. We can discuss about that later on, we can reflect on that. But one thing is remarkable, that the demon is always attacking us from two sides. Which is very normal, because there's two sides of us. We are beings, we are creatures that always have two aspects in our nature. We have a spirit, something that is not material, and we have flesh, we have a body. We have an intelligence in our spirit, but because of our intelligence, because we can understand unchangeable truths, we have a free will, and we can promise to be faithful. We can understand absolute truths, we can create absolute truths by promising to be faithful. So when you look at the human nature, there's always two aspects. And if the demon wants to make us unhappy, He must attack our religion. He must attack our nature. And our nature has two aspects, spirit and matter. And there's of course also the complementarity between man and woman. He has to attack that. This fact of having two aspects in our human nature that makes us creatures that can receive the glory of God, it must be attacked by the demon. So he is always fighting a two-front war against us. He must always attack both aspects of our human person. And I even wonder if this attack of Gog and Magog, because it's the final, it touches what is most fundamental and original in man, that is the difference between man and woman. I wonder if this Magog and Gog is not the imitation of man and she-man in a demonic way. That is the total confusion of the sexes, which is not gonna be fruitful, but very, very sterile. It's like a demonic imitation of man and she-man as described in Genesis at the beginning of the creation, so that humanity will no longer be able to be the spouse of Christ, the bride of Christ, but rather be the bride of the demon. And this relationship will not be fruitful in the Holy Spirit and in charity, as our relationship as bride will be with Christ. But it will be utterly sterile and ultimately produce death.